Thank you, Dr. Westlake. Your insight, your boots on the ground approach, I think brings a lot to this discussion. As I open the floor to questions from other members, I would like to personally thank both Ray and Deb Cullen for coming from Shippensburg, Pennsylvania to the United States Capitol to bring your message to us today. And so in that light, I would like to turn the questioning over to you first. Is there additional advice or general messaging that you would like to provide to the members of Energy and Commerce?
I think what I'd like to say is that we just want to make what we've made our mission is to make awareness a critical piece of this, whether it's through PSAs that could be done where we can meet the youth at the level where they are on social media. So traditionally, we get our news from the mainstream, quote, the mainstream media. We will watch ABC, NBC. That's not where the 18 to 25-year-olds are getting their news. So if there's a way or a means to get that message out about this danger, that would be something that we'd be, pardon me, very interested in doing, whether it's a PSA and also to get it out to the national media so that parents can have those conversations with their kids. Because as I've talked to a number of my clients, friends, there's a lot of hurt out there right now. There's a lot of anxiety, depression, and kids are turning to these things for help. And as I've told parents about it, the parents were not aware of what was going on. And many of them said that as soon as they hung up with me, they were having those conversations with those kids. So as many as those conversations can be had, maybe a life or two will be saved. And that's really what our goal is just to raise the awareness. As we said, we just want to slow the pace at which people are joining our ranks.
Thank you, Mr. Cullen. Mr. Neeram, you outlined for us programs at the DEA, programs that are designed to stop the flow of substances. Can you please describe for us, and we had conversations prior to this roundtable discussion, and I talked to you how these drugs end up in South Central Pennsylvania, in the counties, the beautiful counties that I represent. Can you talk to the whole table about how these cartels, how their influences continue, and how their influences have continued to expand?
Yes, thank you, Congressman, for the question. The majority of illicit drugs in the United States are either manufactured, produced, and or transported through Mexico. The Mexican cartels are no longer drug-specific and have morphed into polydrug manufacturers and distributors. The problem is very complex, but DEA is taking an aggressive approach in fighting the global criminal networks of these two Mexican cartels that I mentioned before, the Sinaloa and the CJ&G. DEA is not waiting for the narcotics to get to the border. They're addressing this and going after the drugs where they're produced, where the precursor chemicals are coming from, and where they're transported. The two cartels that we're talking about use every means available to them to transport drugs, every conveyance that you can think of. It comes across the border through the ports of entry. It comes in through maritime ports. It comes in through vessels along the California coast. And so there are no conveyances or methods or means that they're not utilizing to transport this, and that includes the mail. So as I mentioned, DEA is laser focused on keeping these drugs and stopping them from coming into the United States. And the tools that can be provided, we've talked about a couple of them, permanent scheduling already this morning, just adds additional emphasis and ability for them to investigate and prosecute these traffickers.